Welcome to Working Dragon Mystic, where we discuss real, metaphysical, and occult topics so that you can manifest real and tangible results in your life. This week, we're going to be talking about something that I've been getting a lot of questions on, and I've been seeing come a little too common. This could be a short video, but if I get to ranting, it might get long, so we will see how we do. Now, what is it I am talking about? What has become far too common? And what am I seeing too often? And what is it I'm getting a lot of questions on? Well, it's how do we use entities as correspondences? And what's that mean? Well, first off, I'm going to say we shouldn't. But what does it mean? Far too often, I am seeing people reach out and utilize an entity the same as you would a colored candle or an herb in a spell. They have no interest in working with the entity. They have no interest in understanding who the entity is. They have no interest in understanding any aspects of the entity. All they care about is utilizing that entity as a tool to add power or focus to a spell working so that they can get whatever it is they are wanting. All right, let's break this down a little if we could. How would you feel if someone only called you, came to you, or only even recognized you or your existence when they freaking needed something? I know we've all been there. We've all had people like these in our lives. And I'm pretty sure we all despise them. At the very least, we don't care much for them because we know they don't give a rat's patoot about us. Their only interest in us is the value in which we place to them. It is a 100% one-way, absolutely selfish relationship. And this is not something we should do when working with entities for any reason. I know there's a lot of magicians, a lot of practitioners out there who's probably going to be upset with that statement, and I don't care. Because honestly and truly, if a practitioner is so narrow-minded, so blind, and so selfish as to treat any being or entity in such a narcissistic and selfish way, well, I'll be honest, their opinion don't matter. And that is a sad thing. Now, some of us, I truly do think are doing this unintentionally because that's how spells on the internet, or that's how spell in this book is written. It tells me to just utilize the name and call them this entity. But we never stop to think about these entities and these beings as a person. And that actually is sad. One of the biggest things that I've noticed that can truly transform and alter a magician's practice is understanding that these entities and beings should be treated as people. And that goes to whether or not you think it's psychological or whether they're separate from you. It genuinely still will affect your practice 100%, if not 200% positively, the moment you start treating them as actual people and treating them with the same respect that you would want to be treated with. Now see, I specifically say you, because for a lot of people out there, they're like, well, people, I don't like people, so I don't really care. No, you should treat them how you want to be treated. This is actually one of those times where even an antisocial person like me believes that that is going to hold up 100% true. Now, if you are in a particular practice where hospitality, manners, and respect play a part, oh, that's even doubling down. Now you really need to do it because that's going to affect the very values in which you hold in your practice. Interestingly enough, though, I have noticed that when people treat these entities as entities, they get far better results from their magic. And what's worse, I've actually seen cases where these entities will work against a spell where you're calling on them if you have no intent to actually work with them or build a working relationship with them. They are fully aware that you're only calling on them in your own selfishness. And because of that, they're going to be like, nope, sorry, phone's busy, can't come to the phone right now, bye. I know this seems like a silly topic, but at the same time, I think this is a very, very important topic because I don't think anyone talks about it. I know I haven't talked about it here on this channel, But at the same time, this should be something that's taught in like the very, very basics 101 of spell work, even before you get to actually working with entities. I think somebody needs to be talking about this because it is that important. These beings deserve to be treated like people and individuals. Now, somebody out there is going to be like, well, Drake, what about these entities that are complete just jerks? You know, everyone knows they're not actually good people. First off, if they're not good people and you view them as an absolute jerk and you want nothing to do with them as a friend, why would you reach out to them and gain their assistance in your spell work? Your spell work affects your life. It affects what you're building. It affects your future. So why would you want to mix that mortar with someone you don't like, someone you think so ill of that you couldn't view them as an ally or a friend? That's what my counter to that would be. And a big one on this is Zeus. I know a lot of people who dislike Zeus, but they'll call on him when it comes to spell work. When they need something, okay, he's not too big of a jerk today. That's hypocritical. That actually speaks worse of us when we do that than it speaks of the entity. It really does. Because of this, I make a point to never call on an entity that I don't intend to have a working relationship with, or at least plan to give them thanks. Some of you all know there's entities that I will call on because of a client or something where I'm trying to reach out and get some answers. And this entity may be one that they work with or whatnot, and I need to just connect dots that might be missing. Okay, at that point in time, that is the best source of information. It's going to the source. But I always actually make sure to have some kind of offering, whether beverage or incense, just to say thank you for helping, because I don't know. This may be a one-time deal when I work with this entity, and they're the entity that I needed to talk to. That's true. But at the same time, I always leave it open for the fact that I may actually work with them, because there's been many a times I've reached out to an entity, connected with them because I'm helping someone else, and turns out I really enjoyed spending time with them, and that did blossom into a great friendship. Not always, but it does happen. So no matter what, I always approach them with respect, and I will never use them in a random spell working and call on them just because they suddenly fit the spell I'm doing and they match the correspondence. That is, to me, just rude, reducing them to a correspondence. I wouldn't want it done. I wouldn't want my daughters to be treated that way. I wouldn't want my wife to be treated that way. I wouldn't want anyone in my life to be treated just as a baseless, faceless, nameless correspondence. And I also don't think people should just be used as a resource blindly for our own individual selfishness. So for me personally, this is a big thing. It's a big deal for me. But outside the philosophical, I have noticed a mechanical reason. I have noticed that when entities are treated as genuine individuals, and we work with entities and we attempt to build relationships with them and friendships with them, and not just treat them as a correspondence and not just utilize their sigils or their names in a spell working, we get infinitely better results. And I've also noticed if you make a habit of only calling on them for spell work and correspondence, your results quickly start ticking down exponentially. The entity will literally start blocking your own the spell work that you're actually calling on it for, because it knows you have no intent to actually ever show it respect or work with it, and thus it's just like, nope, I'm not aiding you today. In fact, I'm going to get in your way. Now, this is just a short little rant on respecting entities in the planes and in the multiverse, but I think it's an important one, and I did want to cover it. Remember, I know many people approach these as psychological, or many people approach them as true entities. Some people only view them as constructs of energetic, like a thought form or an egregore. Either way, I have noticed the same applies. You get better results when you treat them as an individual, and they will interfere with you if you don't treat them as an individual and you treat them just as a correspondence. So with that knowledge at hand, I would always advise you to treat them with respect as an individual, and only call on them if there's someone you're genuinely wanting to work with, and call an ally or a friend. Now, this is just my 2 cents. I'm sure a lot of people out there is going to disagree with me, but those are my observations. Those have been my findings over the years, and that is also what I advise and recommend to my students. Also, I don't know. I believe we should genuinely treat others to the same standards we hold ourselves to. And I do that with everyone in my life, as well as the entities I work with. I hope this video helps you out a little bit in how you approach and utilize the entities in your practice. And whether you like it or you don't like what was said here today, I would at least ask that you take the time to meditate on what was said here today. Evaluate it. See how it would affect your personal practice. Again, like I said, I know there's a lot of people who will disagree with my observations and my findings in this particular category, and I understand that. But I would at least ask that you meditate on it in lights that, even if it has nothing to do with this exact topic, that meditation may unlock a door and help you further your practice and your goals in your life. And at the end of the day, if you're not hurting anyone else and you're furthering your path and your goals and you're manifesting the life you want, then I'm happy for you. Okay? So if you enjoyed this video, or if it just gave you something to think about, please hit the subscribe button. Also click that bell icon wherever it's at around here to turn on notifications so you're notified anytime we release a new video on a topic or just some rant like this that I may have on the metaphysics. We also do a live stream on Friday and Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So join us there. We also do have a Patreon and a channel subscription where you can sign up, kick a little money into what we do here every month. Every tier, we got 3 tiers currently, comes with its own perks and rewards. So if you believe in the work we're doing, trying to get as much information out to all the seekers that we can to help people master their lives and manifest the life and happiness that they want, by all means consider supporting the channel. If you would, you don't have to. We understand not everybody can, but if you would like to, those options are available. And until next time, I'm Drake, and this has been Working Dragon Mystic. Take care. Bye-bye.